Hi and welcome back to SGTV. We are joined once again by Brett Murray from Murray's Electrical. Brett, it's a pleasure to have you back on the show.
Hi.
So today we're going to be talking about what flips your switch. So this is a bit of a segment we do on SGTV where we want to talk about the things that sort of get under your skin about the industry, but we want to turn it into a positive as well. So all the examples you give us, we want to sort of know your perspective on how you think it could be done better or how it could be perhaps improved. So let's start with site work. So what flips your switch with site work?
To be honest, I mean, I generally enjoy the industry and wouldn't want to do anything else now, but it's probably the finer, finicky things that are going to flick my switch. Site work, it's the health and safety aspects, and some of them which are either a little bit too far or a little bit too pedantic. Some sites where you go, wear eye protection, 100% of the time. It's, I feel it's a little bit too much. You don't wear eye protection, go shopping and, do just everyday stuff. And I think sometimes it just goes a little bit too far. But I understand it's there for a reason, and these people are responsible for us. It's site inductions when they start with, we want everybody to go home at the end of the day. Well, I want to go home as well.
Yeah.
That's the gist of it. And I think it's a little bit too much sometimes. And, sometimes I think common sense prevails or should prevail. Although I wouldn't, I don't go against health and safety for obvious reasons.
It's there for a reason. And most of the time it's there because it should be there.
Yeah.
So what sort of examples, like you said, the eye protection, where do you think it's gone too far?
Yeah. Just on some sites we've done on in recent years, you've got to have the eye protection on, even just walking around site. I think I understand that sites are, there's dust in the air and things like that, but the human body's sort of built you shouldn't get anything in your eye that badly while walking from point A to point B sort of thing. But other than that, I mean, I personally like site work more than, domestic, sort of domestic jobs. But that's possibly because that's been the majority of my electrical career, has been bigger sites, commercial and industrial sort of work. But as a whole, I enjoy being on site. And
Are there things you do to improve the finicky things though on site?
I think it's becoming more and more the thing that they're going to do, because it's, like you say, it's there for the right reason, and I wouldn't advise against health and safety. Like, it is required in the industry, it is dangerous, but just the operatives know themselves sort of what the thing to do is, of how to go through a procedure without hurting yourself or protecting yourself against these dangers. And I think sometimes it is down to the individual to do the right things at the right time, rather than having really strict, if you've not got your glasses, walking through site, you're going to get sent off.
So maybe just review with a bit more of a common sense approach,
yeah,
but still keeping in mind the real.
Yeah, I mean, I'd wear eye protection, drilling, grinding, cut. In the right circumstances, then I wouldn't.
You telling me you don't grind and just do that and hope for the best?
I've got stuff in my eye from grinding before, and the treatment that you get down at the hospital to get it out, it's not pleasant. So, I do wear it at the right times. It is just the minor roles that have sort of just gone a little bit too far, and I think that sort of winds me up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about domestic work? What sort of gets under your skin when it comes to domestic work?
Domestic work, it's probably more myself, where I've not done as much domestic work as I have on site or industrial, commercial. It's probably more myself, and I annoy myself because I sort of undervalue myself as a domestic electrician. It's not I can't do it or I won't do it. It's more I annoy myself because it's like, it doesn't feel normal, and
Not as comfortable doing it as
yeah,
doing it as often.
It's
sort of thing.
my own how I feel about myself doing it really. But I'm hoping that we're taking on a lot more domestic work with the new business sort of thing, and growing in confidence. I mean, the only thing that I have sort of found myself struggling with is, it's not sight. You've got to sort of watch what you say and how you behave, and
You can't just shout and swear when there's little old lady in the next room.
Yeah, or children around.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I tend to get on well with the customers. It's it's not that they're silly or stupid. Not everybody understands what we're doing like we do, and they don't always understand the extent of what's involved. Even if it's just moving a socket from there to there, in their eyes it looks easy. So I've got no problem with explaining things to them. I don't mind them watching. It might cost them a little bit more, but I don't mind.
I love to watch them.
I don't mind them, but it is just, you got to be aware that you're in somebody's house, and it's that well, it does. I suppose it does annoy me a little bit because it's not. I feel it's a little bit more tense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Someone watching over you, it's always going to be
more
difficult.
I think. But no, I've got no problem with doing domestic work.
Okay. What about, because you do commercial,
Yeah.
so are there certain things in the commercial sector that sort of get under your skin and flip your switch?
Commercial sector, the whole thing just annoys me, but I think that's because I've been doing it too long now. But no, it's although it's the same, it's very different. I think people with commercial premises sometimes they can be a bit more demanding. It's either their business, their livelihood, and they want it all perfect and sort of almost instantly. And once again, sometimes they don't understand what's involved with, our time scale and how long it takes us. And commercial jobs don't just happen over, there can be months rather than days, if you know what I mean. And I think sometimes that can be a bit difficult.
So how do you think you could sort of make that easier, make that a bit more clearer so you're going into a commercial job and not getting wound up as much?
I've learned personally not to get wound up as much as I used to anyway. Just as sort of, from a younger person that was known to be a bit hot-headed, I've learnt to sort of let a bit more go sometimes. And, in all circumstances, just, it doesn't, by getting uptight and irritated, it doesn't really help the situation.
So it's more like growth as a person?
Yeah, definitely.
What would you say the same for industrial? Because some people compare commercial and industrial as very similar, but depending on who you speak to.
Yeah, we sort of call it commercial industrial within ourselves. It's very close, and to separate them, I think you get sort of a little bit nitpicky. Offices and warehouse often they're within the same building. And I think unless you're really heavy industrial, that there is, then you're looking at, bigger power, and, there is a slight difference. But no, they're much the same.
So similar sort of issues that sort of can get to you.
Yeah. Cables get too big, don't they?
Too big and heavy.
Yeah, I start arguing with them.
So way of making that better, get someone bit more.
Yeah, because of where I've come from, we did a job recently, and cable gangs coming in and pulled the cables in, and it was the submains into the new building, and it was 180, might have been 240. It was a large armoured cable, and it had a very tight radius to get it up into the bottom of the panel. And the cable gang walked away from it, even though they were on price, and went, "You've had your money's worth," and left it. And I stood there being me and went, "I could get that in there. That's doable." And the contracts manager went, "I'll see you in a couple of days." And off he went. Like, that was, get it in there then. And we did, with a number of hands and bodies on different places, we did manage to do it. So it's, I've always found that to be my you know, where I've learnt my trade anyway. So it's sort of nothing really scares me in that department.
Yeah. What about customers? I know, having spoken to several electricians, customers can be a pain, not always. So what is it that sort of gets under your skin when it comes to customers?
I think initially it doesn't really get on my nerves, but it's you get the ones that think they know how it's done and how to do it, and when you actually speak to them, that they're miles off, and trying to explain to the customers that think they know, I find very sort of frustrating, because they almost start arguing with you, and you think,
What am I here for then?
yeah, if you know how to do it, why haven't you just done it?
Yeah.
And that's the one sort of customer that I think that does, I have to bite my tongue a little bit. And
So how do you get around that? How do you make it clear that they're wrong and you know what you're doing?
I think you have to, like I say, you sort of have to explain to them sort of what give them the understanding for your knowledge of what you're doing, and bring them round to a moment of realisation of that's not the way to do it, and they do know what they're doing, and they're sort of not really given anywhere to go in that situation.
Doesn't
really
involve like grabbing them or anything.
No,
like
no,
that.
don't do that. You can get in a lot of trouble. You've just got to be calm and sort of, it's almost a bit sort of domineering, I suppose, that, this is the way we do it. I mean, we tend to be quite lucky with a lot of the customers that regular customers that we got have, they've sort of taken to us, whether it's personally or professionally, and we've now got a few customers that we're doing a lot of work for, and if we give them, this is the way we think you should be doing it, they often might question the reasoning why, but 9 times out of 10 sort of say, we understand what you know what you're doing. If you think that's the best way, that's probably the best way to go forward. And I think because we build that relationship with a lot of our customers, that we tend to swerve that pretty quickly, sort of thing.
Yeah. Let's talk about new tech, because depending on the sort of work you're doing, new tech might not necessarily be something you get involved with very often, and it can often be frustrating.
Yeah.
So what's your sort of experience on dealing with like newer technology?
To be fair, it's a bit few and far between at the moment, to be honest. A lot of the biggest struggle we're having at the moment is where we've taken on these landlords' properties. There are a lot of warehouses which were probably 20 to 30 years old, and we're having trouble now because a lot of the boards in there are obsolete, and it's more the old tech that we're struggling with because it's disappeared, because everything's changing so quickly. It's the old stuff's really getting left behind, and it's hard to, get RCBAs where we need them, because of the new regs. When we're doing the reports, some of the ZS values are going over, which could be changed with changing the type of breaker. They're not available. So we're getting to a point with a couple of these buildings that are, they're going to need some board changes soon, I think, to help do it. But as for new tech, myself especially tends to try and keep up with what's going on what's developing, but everything develops so quick. Just as you sort of get your head around something, there's 0.2 version, and it's slightly different again.
And I suppose the support as well can often be different.
Yeah,
and difficult to keep up with as well.
Yeah, well, we've got another contractor that he's deals with remote Wi-Fi in remote locations, and he's very good in supporting us with. We support him with a lot of the ring components, and he just knows. He gets hold of it all, and he just knows what to do. So as soon as we fit anything like that, he's there to to go through the setup process with the customer. But like I say, everything just develops so quickly that you sort of almost got to keep an eye out of what's going on. You know, and it's YouTube now as well is brilliant. I know, oh, this is new and I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
You know, it's somebody's always done a video on this is how to set it up or this is how it works. And you know, I think I do. You know, I am guilty of just keeping an eye on there to see how things are developing, sort of thing.
What about regs? Often regs can be come in thick and fast, or not at all.
Well,
so is that one difficult to keep up with?
I mean, we've pretty good. I've got an independent trainer that does all of our company training. I used him through my company I've done the apprenticeship with, and he keeps us all up with the updates and everything. But I think this book especially seems to have a lot of scope for development. Like it's almost written in stone that there's going to be a 19th. There's a lot of seed planting in the new, the new regs. The surge protection they've sort of got it at the minute of installer's choice, but you've got some bizarre method to you've got to cover yourself for not installing it, if you know what I mean. And I think it's now set in that we're all putting in surge protection devices anyway, and I think further down the line that you won't even be able to rule it out. And there's a lot of other points going through the book. I don't know it all off by heart. It's massive.
Is it enough to get under your skin though?
It depends. I'm all right at the minute with understanding there's a few. It's how quick these seeds develop and how rapid they start. If it starts getting too, if it starts becoming once a year, then it's when you ease up on developing these regs sort of thing. But
a lot to keep up with.
It is a lot to keep up with. I mean, I think that's where me and Andy and my dad are. Bits he gets and the bits I get, and then when it all comes together, you normally got most of it, but it will be hard to keep up with if it's a new book every year. Like there's a lot in there to get your head around anyway. Yeah. I've only ever known one person that knew the cover from, knew it from cover to cover, and he was a tutor at school that had learnt it in the army, and he could just splat out the regs. But I don't know, he's probably no good with a screwdriver. You get different people that can do different things. It's all for the better. You like to think that they're doing it all for the right reasons. Much with the health and safety. That the regs is there, so we're all putting, all working to the same standards. And we've got such a good reputation in this country for standards in our industry that you like to think that they're going to maintain that high standard.
Yeah. Let's go on to DIYers. So again, a lot of people I know get quite wound up, flips their switch dealing with DIYers in the aftermath of their work. So how's that been for you? I
mean, I can see why they flicks the switch about it. I just can't believe that they do it. That's it doesn't wind me off. You just
any good examples?
You just think we've just done a job recently, and they've almost pinched the core of a cable from 3 different circuits, and we got the earth from that bit over there, and it was just like I say, it didn't annoy me. It was just a bit frightening. It's a bit frightening that people think that they can do it. There's a lot involved with the electrical industry, and like I say, with when you're talking to customers, they don't always understand what they're messing about with. Like there's a lot in there that's to protect the users of the systems. Safety wise, it's dangerous. Like if it goes wrong, it is dangerous, and I don't think they understand just what they're messing about with. When you turn it all off, it's all fine, isn't it? And then when you turn it back on, if you've not got, I mean, we've been to places where they've had new lights put in, and they've lost the earth. You've got half a dozen lights in a room with no earth, and they're metal. Yeah. They're metal discs. I know they're on the ceiling, and the likelihood of people touching them is minimal.
Still, people do that, don't they?
But if for whatever reason one day you decide to touch that, it's not pleasant.
Has it ever sort of affected the timescale you're working on things? If you've gone to do a job you've quoted for then you've uncovered that somewhere along the lines they've DIY'd some absolute bodge and it's taking you twice as long.
Yeah, it does happen, and so you try to explain to the people. I mean, whoever's living there, it's normally, well, that was done by the person that lived here before me. Like it's never them, but you try to explain, what you're doing, and sometimes you just have to, I think we've sort of swallowed the costs a little bit when we have been there for longer than we wanted to be, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because of, somebody's bright idea.
I suppose it's also building that trust. If someone's living in a house and it's worked for the time they've been there, but it's wrong, and you're trying to say, actually, I need to charge you more and be here longer to rectify that, they might have that element of distrust.
we had a situation, did some council rewires many years ago, and used to go and see the next house on the Friday afternoon. We knocked the door, said, we're from the council electricians, we're going to be doing a rewire in your house next week. What's that for? Well, it's your electrics, so we'll redo it. Flicking a light switch by the door, she goes, it's works, I don't need you. We went, well, it's been 25 years, you're next on the list. If you go right to the bottom, and you probably won't see anybody for another 25 years. Well, what happens if I don't have it? Well, potential risk of fire, this, that, oh, well, best see you Monday then.
Yeah.
The realisation of what can go wrong on an electrical system, sort of at home, and, as a family, who wants to have fire in their family home, and like you say, it sort of give you that trust. And then when she was as good as gold for that following week, cups of teas and biscuits, and, she was fine then, but the initial reaction of, there's nothing wrong with it. And it does look like that sometimes.
It's people's understanding, though, isn't it? Like you say, if they don't know there's something wrong, if it works for what they need, then how are they to know?
I always say about the, people about light switches. It's magic how that switch controls that light over there. And they sort of look at you and go, yeah, it is. They don't understand what's going on in your walls and your floorboards.
Yeah. The last one then, before we finish this episode, I know most people out there are going to want to have a good relationship with other trades. Doesn't always necessarily work out that way. So are there any examples where other trades have sort of got to you? And
the dry liners. Without a doubt. I just can't. Parasites. Just all the other trades I seem to be able to get on with, and you sort of deal with them. Dry liners are just so sort of adamant and stuck in their ways that they just drive me around the bend. Oh, we're coming in and I'm like, get all your stuff out, and just covering up your boxes.
Talking about boxes being filled in by plasterers, we've got the SGTV Time is Money board, which you're going to be having a go on at the end of this episode. So keep tuned for that one, and you get to see Brett do his magic.
I mean, even the plasterers, people say to me about plasterers. Plasterers I deal with, they seem to be able to go around a socket, and all this hubbub about filling them up. I go, I don't know, I've never seen it. Just struggle with that one. Plumbers I always end up having a laugh with. They're not much different from us. Not quite as good though. But,
can end up with angry plumbers now messaging us.
No, they're not a bad bunch. They're not a bad bunch. It's the dry liners that just.
So we're going to start a war now here.
Yeah,
here on SGTV.
They probably know. They thought, there we go. No, I don't like him either.
But it'd be interesting to hear from our audience as well. If anyone out there has got certain things that bug them about the industry or other trades, let us know. It'd be interesting to see what your take on this is.
Yeah, I think everybody has it different, don't they? I think it's like people and in general, never going to get on with everybody. It's very rare that someone that doesn't like somebody else, if you know what I mean. There's always a crowd. A couple of them won't like each other. Yeah. But no, generally as a whole, construction industry, I wouldn't do anything else now. That's that and my motorsport. I'm happy.
Yeah. Okay. Brett, I want to thank you again for coming on. We've got more episodes featuring yourself here on SGTV, so they're there to look out for on the channels. So we're here with the Time is Money Challenge board from SGTV. This is Brett's first go on the Time is Money Challenge board. So the whole premise of this board is to make it look like other trades are getting in your way. So the first one, plumbers have kindly plumbed over your FCU. So first challenge, you've got to open the drawer, take the fuse out, put it back in and close it. Next one, plasterers have skimmed over your back box here. So with the most basic tools we can possibly give you, a flathead screwdriver and a hammer, you've got to chisel all that out and then wire a double socket with earth sleeving to the board. Simple as that. Times challenge.
Easy, isn't it?
How do you think you're going to do?
It's easy, isn't it?
Yeah. Right then, stopwatch at the ready. Everyone ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, he's struggling at the first hurdle.
Lincoln plumbers, look.
Yeah.
I said they were right with another one.
Oh, he's dropped it, the pressure's getting to him.
That's all right. New one can go in now.
There we go. So that's the first challenge done. Right now, here's the fun part.
I think it'd be messy.
Bear in mind, this has had a long time to cure.
I need a bigger hammer. That's it. Damage the cable now. Yeah, cable's definitely out.
It's the wrong time, it messed up. We're gonna have to time it on the camera. You need to make sure you've got enough room in there for that double socket to secure. They're the best cutters money can buy, they are, Brett.
I know.
Why aren't you using a chisel?
I wanted a bigger hammer, but you wouldn't let me have it.
Time's ticking. This is struggling stripping them cables.
Not my choice at all, that. Oh, dropping screws now. That's all different when everybody's watching, isn't it?
Yep.
I've lost it now.
Pressure's on.
Yeah.
Screws are on the floor.
Screws on the floor, lost that.
Just turn the lights off, make it interesting.
Sure, electrician style.
Do you work this fast on site?
Depends whether it's day rate or price, doesn't it?
Doing good, Brett, honestly. We've had some people take a lot longer than this.
Well, I'm professional. Have I got to put a level on it as well?
No. He's found the other screw. We're back in the game.
That is something that grinds my gears. I've been known to go around people's house parties and go around their kitchen sockets, straighten them all up because they're all wonky.
You're fun at parties then.
Well, what are you doing? I was wonky and they're just doing me head in.
That's it, time. Right. I don't know if this is the right time because the stopwatch fell, so we'll have to check that on the board. But I think if we'll cut there and then I'll just be like... So your time is here. That's not a bad time. How did you find that, Brett?
It's amazing how much it gets to you.
Yeah.
Especially with 3 people watching over your shoulder, like...
Good bit of fun though.
Yeah, oh yeah, but good laugh.
Right.
Somebody else can tidy that up.
Yeah. That's your job. You're the labourer and the spark today.
Yeah.
Right.
Great
Thanks for trying the board out, Brett.
No, cheers. Thanks for having me.